What are we calling the show this year?
This is the Patriots Pregame Show, presented by Dunkin.
Patriots Chinwag, Patriots Before the Game Show.
Jones, he's throwing it toward Thornton, left corner of the end zone, caught, touchdown New England.
Hey, it's the Patriots.
The Patriots Pregame Show is your source for all the latest news and information before every game.
He took it to the house again.
Here we
the
go.
Patriots take the lead.
With Hardy,
But if you're doing pot and you say you're going to wake up and do pot, you can't do a bunch of other stuff and then do your pot dope.
Mike Dussault,
I'm going to go with Unleash the Blitzkrieg.
Paul Perillo,
In all honesty, I think I know who it was, but I'm not sure. I think
Okay.
it's a- this is
And in Paul's defense, we're talking 60 years ago.
and Tamara Brown.
Make the Germans proud and don't let Jonathan Taylor plow through the Patriots defense. So an attempt at a rhyme that just kind of peters off at the end.
Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show, presented by Dunkin.
I can't wait. You know what? I'll give credit to Tamara for trying, because that's more than you can say about certain entities around these parts. Is everyone still trying? Are we still trying? We're going to do more than try. We're going to have a heck of a pregame show today. Patriots pregame show fueled by Dunkin, Hardy, Paul Perillo, Tamara Brown, and Mike Dussault. Let's get it rolling. How is everybody? Happy Thanksgiving, huh? Happy. Although Paul already told me
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Pal.
We're very excited to be here.
off to a bad start. Paul said I can't say Happy Thanksgiving anymore.
No, we're on to Christmas. I told you.
Cyber Monday.
Wait, you'd say Merry Christmas to somebody if you saw them?
Or Happy Holidays, I think, is probably a little bit more
not that-
PC.
Hey, how's your Happy Thanksgiving weekend? Or so? It's still okay.
Okay.
It's fine.
I'll allow.
I mean,
I'm too tired to
whatever.
argue.
if you're calling in 855-PATS-500 or emailing webradio@patriots.com, feel free to say Happy Thanksgiving. It's still okay. All right.
Yes, I will
I'm
allow.
going to be very mad if anyone wishes me a happy Thanksgiving.
Well.
I already ate my turkey. I don't need to hear it anymore.
Hey, Patriots fans are mad already. So we've had 2 weeks to kind of stew on that loss in Germany, and today this team goes into a game against the Giants where up until last night there was no real indication as to who was going to get the start at quarterback, according to Andrew Callahan and other reports. It looks like it most likely will be Mac Jones today, but
That's what all the reports say.
Yeah.
going into a Week 12 game as a 2-8 team where you have your two quarterbacks still healthy, and to have a quarterback controversy and a competition happening in the week leading up to it, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what's going on around here anymore. You guys are here a lot more than I am. Maybe you could tell me what's going on around here.
I'm not sure they know what's going on. They, as in people inside the organization, know what's going on. It's just,
Certainly not the players.
to me, no, they don't. It's baffling to me to one, still have this quarterback controversy, and also just you knew all week you were going to start Mac. Like, I don't understand why there was this like ring around the rosy situation. Just tell us you're starting Mac. We don't care.
Pocket full of posies? That was.
Yeah.
But what?
We don't care.
Okay, you say that now
Yes.
because it looks like they're going to start Mac. Why would they know that they were going to start Mac? Why would they know not the exact opposite of that? You pulled him out of the game in Germany because you didn't trust him with the ball in a 2-minute drill when he's the only one who's practiced that all season long.
You
and
also don't love Bailey either because you cut him at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And you didn't fear losing him either.
Like, what does Mac have to do to not play? Like, I don't know. I mean, they've shown nothing but disinterest in Bailey Zappi. I mean, just they don't really seem to value him that much. I mean, we said it all week. Who's probably going to start Mac? I mean, did anyone think that Zappi was going to get like 3 opportunities? I mean, it makes sense that
I thought Zappi was going to
it
start
makes
too.
sense that he should, but like just from when it wasn't immediately apparent from the get-go, to me it was like, well, it's going to be Mac again. Like, I mean, if Zappi hasn't done it to this point and has done enough to get himself cut, and not really be in their plans, like, what's going to change at this point? I mean, I agree with you guys generally. I'd love to just see Zappi go. Like, give Mac a week, give him a second week off, let him try to reset. I think we're going to see the same Mac Jones we've been seeing. Back foot, forced throws into bad decisions. I don't know. If he suddenly is reset and looks like a different quarterback, then okay, I'll see it, but I don't expect that.
Yeah, I'll just say it's a one-off if I see that. Like, I mean, until I see it on a consistent basis for like a couple of years, like it's not going to make up for the past 2.5 years that I've seen the same guy. So, yeah, it's not necessarily that I wanted to see Zappe, although if you asked me what my preference, that would have been it. I just thought all signs pointed to he's finally had enough with Mac. He's going to make a change. And I just think the mismanagement of the game's most important position is what sticks out to me. I don't understand what he's doing, why he's doing it, why he's playing musical chairs with the backups. We didn't even mention Will Greer yet, who was let go yesterday. And this is nothing about Will Greer. Mike and I have been lockstep on this. Like, I don't understand why suddenly a guy who's been on 4 teams in 3 years was the answer. Like, just play Will Greer. Let's just play. I didn't really understand, the hue and cry to get him out there. But does it make any sense to let him go now? Like,
play somebody, anybody, and play somebody while I'm waiting. That's all it is.
And I just think, I understand that there's probably stuff that we don't know behind the scenes. I don't think that everybody is as in the dark as they've claimed to be within the structure of the team. Now, I asked Ted Johnson about this the other day when I was on your station, Hardy, on my show. And Ted said, that can happen. There were times where decisions were made and we weren't privy to them.
Okay.
So he did admit that there were times when the team wouldn't necessarily know.
Sure,
I don't like
in this position though. I'm sorry, David Andrews had to have been told something.
I agree, and that's why I said I don't think the players are being completely forthcoming with the information. Are they lying? No, I think they're
not lying.
They're doing what they're told.
And I believe Ted is the ultimate source on a lot of this stuff. But just because maybe back in the day there was some kind of an issue, a personnel decision that hadn't been made public on offense. And because Ted is a linebacker said, no, we didn't get told anything. Well, why would you get told? You don't need to know.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was funny because the example I was using was the Super Bowl in 2001 when Brady got hurt in the AFC Championship game and Bledsoe came in and finished that game up. The first practice they had in New Orleans, remember there wasn't 2 weeks then because of 9/11. There was only 1 week in between the conference championship and the Super Bowl. And the first practice they got out there, Tom was able to do everything that they wanted to do. And Bill told the media in no uncertain terms that Tom will be the starter. And Ted was saying he never told the team. And I'm just like, there's no way he told he just told the entire NFL media. The team knew that Tom Brady was starting. To your point, Hardy, as a defensive player, he's locked into his game plan. Maybe he's not even concerned with what's going on the other side. He's just worried about his job, But I think this, to me, the communication here, it's either a real gross mismanagement on Bill's part or we're not really given all the facts.
I'm leaning toward the former, but
I just don't understand how he treats the position so cavalierly. Right. I don't.
We got 2 hours to do this, so and we'll be talking a lot about Mac and Zappe and Bill and the Giants. But first, we need the keys to today's game. It's okay.
You leave the keys up on the table. You wanted to. You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail.
Here are Hardy, Paul, Mike, and Tamara's keys to the game.
Why, did I steal your key to the game also?
Who is the current key holder?
I believe it's Mr. Perillo. He's retrieving the key now from its place of honor around the PTZ camera.
Very good.
He's now donning it around his neck.
All right, we're going to run through the keys. Patty and Agawam is already on hold. He will be the decider. So they listen to the show while on hold. That is correct? Yes. All right, so Pat, listen carefully. We're not going to run through these again. We're not going to recap them for you.
Pay attention. Pay attention.
This is the campaign in its entirety. Paul, you are the current key holder. What is your key for today's game against the Giants?
I am Goza.
What dost thou predict?
Shut down Saquon. I think the Giants do not have a whole lot on offense, but they do have one of the very best, most dangerous running backs in football in Saquon Barkley. I think, especially as a receiver, I think he can be dangerous out of the backfield. Some easy throws for Tommy DeVito. Cut down the cutback lanes. You got to get multiple bodies around him. I think the Patriots' run defense has been probably the only thing that has performed all season at a high level consistently. The Patriots' run defense, I think you continue that today and you shut down the Giants' offense. Shut down Saquon.
Okay. Paul is off and running with the first key. Tamara, what is your key?
My key is don't sleep on the kid. I know everyone's been joking about Tommy DeVito, how he lives at home with his mom and she still cooks him dinner and all the things. But if you come out there and don't respect who he is, you'll look like the Commanders last week, who had 6 turnovers and allowed Tommy DeVito look like he was a star. And I think that's just something that the Patriots defense has to respect this week. And especially without, their best pass rushers out there, I'm hoping that they can redeem themselves, especially the secondary.
Also, good advice for new parents who are engaging in co-sleeping with their newborn.
Oh.
Don't sleep on the kid.
Don't. Careful.
And you're not. It's just a different emphasis. Okay, Deuce, what do you got?
No, I like Tamara's, and I like Paul's too. I thought Paul jumped on Saquon first. I think that's an easy place to start. Mine was just trying to be complimentary to that. Run to the end zone. I thought the running game, Patriots, some signs of life. I don't have a lot of confidence in the quarterback position, the ability for them to throw the ball into the end zone. So I think it's about Ramondre, Ezekiel Elliott, running the ball, getting to the end zone, scoring touchdowns on the ground, taking some of that pressure off of the quarterback to have to deliver down in the red zone. So I think offensively for me, that's the key for the Patriots.
My key was composed a couple of days ago, and I just want to change one word in it. Initially, I said, make us happy, go with Zappy. I'm going to say, make everyone happy, go with Zappy. Because all of your keys, while they're well thought out and technically more sound than this one, they are all based on the hope or feeling that it is best for the Patriots to win today. And I'm not even sure that's the thing. So here's the thing. I think a lot of people on the team were unhappy with Mac Jones' play. I think they would be happy with a change at quarterback just to see what's going on and can we get anything going. And I don't care if Mac is on a short leash. If he throws a bad pick late in the second and then Zappy comes out to start the second half, that's not again, I'm not interested in fairness necessarily for a backup quarterback, but if you want to give your team a legitimate chance to go out there and feel like they've got a chance to win and compete and do something, whoever you're going to play at quarterback, you play him from the start. This short leash nonsense, these half measures, which so far this season have availed them nothing. Go with Zappy, make the rest of the team happy, and if he sucks, at least you know it. And then you can go back to Mac if you want to, or stick with Zappy. But this unsettled feeling that the entire team has, to me, would make me want to play even less. And you're just going to have this really unpassionate and uninspired play for the next 7 games. We got 7 more of these to get through. So if you want to show the team something, make a fundamental change, a meaningful change at quarterback, start Zappy over Mac, and let that be the rallying cry. And however it shakes out, it shakes out. But that's what they should have done today, and I don't think they're going to do it. So
it's like an Oscar clip right here. This is the Oscar clip.
We're just going to go ahead and give you the key. That was amazing.
I never learned how to read.
Like
the passion.
The
passion.
And I agree with you. Life is not fair, but I feel like the way that Bailey Zappi has been put into situations, especially in the Colts game, like with less than 2 minutes left, no timeouts. It's like, if you're going to start Zappy or play Zappy, I want him to be fully prepared. Like, have him prepared the whole week as a starter, not just thrown in there after Mac has made 10 mistakes.
Yeah,
I kind of wish, and I'm not condoning the Jets because they don't know how to manage a quarterback either, but I like how they're definitively saying, like, we've seen enough of Zach Wilson. He's the third string. We're moving on. We're going to look at other things. Like, why can't we do that here?
I don't know.
I was listening to Hardy's rant, and I was just imagining what the Patriots players who, reports that a lot of the team has moved on from Mac. They're not, in his corner anymore. How do those guys feel this morning of, okay, we played that charade all week of we don't know who's going to start, and now they're hearing Mac's going to be back out there.
Right.
I think that speaks to those guys.
Pat, before we get to our Behind the Enemy Lines guest, wanted to welcome you in, and you get to decide the new key holder for the week, or will Paul Perillo retain the key?
Well, first and foremost, I hope all you guys had a great Thanksgiving, gentlemen and Tamara. My key goes to Deuce.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
No, I'm overriding.
Run to the end zone.
That.
Run to the end zone. Here you go.
I'm overriding that.
Hey,
that Hardy's key was the best key we've had all season.
Yeah. Hey, Pat, call us back. All right.
Oh, man.
That's a big disappointment. I hung up on him so we can go behind enemy lines. Let's go.
You know the view from New England.
We go behind enemy lines.
But what about the view from the other side?
And that's why you're our favorite pregame show guest every year.
You guys know you tell everybody that.
Oh, yeah?
I was on with you guys in 2018, Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
And I was told I was the favorite guest of the show.
Nope.
Time now to go behind enemy lines.
My God, it's coming right for us.
We're going to stick and move with Matt Sitak, who only has 9 minutes for us today. So, Matt, we're going to jump right on it here from Giants.com. Thanks for taking the time this morning. How you doing, Matt?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Hey, Matt, just, what are you seeing from Tommy DeVito? What are you kind of expecting from them today? How do they need to manage him to get a win over the Patriots?
Yeah, I mean, Tommy's obviously coming off his best game in the NFL last week against the Commanders, but, this week's matchup, a lot tougher. Bill Belichick, we all know his record, A, coming off a bye, and B, against rookie quarterbacks. So I think we're looking for him to just carry over what he did last week into this week's matchup against a tougher defense and a coach that's going to come in with a game plan that's going to, really try to stifle Saquon Barkley, which could open the way for Tommy to have more opportunities.
Hey, Matt, when Tommy DeVito had to become the starter for this team due to the injuries to the other two quarterbacks, was there any hope that he could lead you guys to a few wins, or were you guys kind of worried about it?
No, of course there was hope. I mean, any player that's on the roster is here for a reason, here because they belong in the NFL. So, of course, you don't want to go into a season, losing your top two quarterbacks, but Tommy has been great the last couple of weeks. He's really commanded the offense, commanded the huddle, and teammates are rallying around him. So he's been great, and, the hope and the effort is to still go out there and try to win as many games as they can.
Matt, I wanted to talk to you about the other side of the ball a little bit. The defense, to me, I haven't seen the Giants a lot, and I know some of the numbers aren't great, but when I watch them, they've been pretty effective. I'm just wondering, do you think the defense maybe is better than the stats, mostly because of some of the struggles that they've had on offense? Maybe this is a better unit than it looks like on paper?
Yeah, I do believe so. I mean, and some of those stats you mentioned, I feel like are inflated because of a handful of poor performances. And, while those still obviously count, the defense has at other times really played great and stepped up. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau is up to 10.5 sacks. He's top 5 sacks in the league now. First defender on Wink Martindale-led defense, actually, that has reached double-digit sacks. And, Wink has obviously coached some great players between the Giants and his time with the Ravens. And then also we've seen just great play from the two middle linebackers, Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden. Those two are going to play a big role in today's game, I feel like, keeping an eye on Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke in the run game, and with both of them running out for passes throughout the passing game.
Matt, a couple of 8-loss teams going at it. People are going to be talking about, draft implications. And one bit of commentary I heard I thought was interesting said, before you think the Giants would tank, the last thing they want to do is be in a position where they would be looking to draft another quarterback. They're just not necessarily interested in that. So what do you how do you feel about that assessment, and what do you think the Giants are going to try and do down the stretch here in these last, 6-7 games?
Well, I can tell you what they're going to try to do in these last, month and a half of the season. They're going to go out there and try to win every single game. I mean, I know there are a lot of fans out there that want to talk about draft position, where they might land, but I can tell you that this team is not worried about that at all. That is concern for the offseason. The team is going out there and trying to win every single game, and wherever that leads to them landing in the draft order, so be it.
Just a quick one about Dexter Lawrence. Banged up, and I don't think he's going to play today. Just what would that loss mean to the Giants' defense?
Yeah, I mean, Dexter Lawrence has been one of, if not the best defender on the defense dating back to the start of last season. I mean, he's great at pressuring the quarterback. His sack numbers aren't quite as high as, some of the other top pass rushers in the league, but if you look at his pressure rate, it is up there among the top edge rushers in the league. And he's also been pretty dominant against the run. He kind of just stuffs the middle of the defensive line. So if Lawrence can't go out there today, that is a big loss for the defense, but I know they have other guys that are ready to go right behind him.
All right, Matt, very quickly before we let you go, do you have a score prediction on today's game? Patriots 3.5 points favorites, which is surprising to a lot of people.
Stunning.
Yeah. How do you think this one shakes out?
Ooh, I'm not in the prediction business, but I honestly just want to see a good game today. I know the record for both of these teams is not what either team would have hoped for at this point of the season, but we just want to see some good football. The Giants are coming off one of their best games in the last month or two. Last week, Patriots coming off bye, so I think we're going to get a better game today than some people are expecting.
Okay. All right, Matt Sitak there from Giants.com. We appreciate it, Matt. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, take care.
Okay. So we have 2. That's 2, Matt. Update your list. Refusal to make a pick. We'll cross him off the list then.
He was up against it on time. I didn't want to give him
I'm teasing.
I didn't want to give him a hard time, but
yeah.
I hope he's right. I just,
good game.
Based on what? Yeah, based on what? We think we're going to get a good football game today?
I mean,
you hoping for a good football game today? I'm not.
I'm not hoping.
Seriously, why put yourself through that?
But I would also wonder, the definition of a good game. If it's close, is that concerned? Because we just had a 10-6 game that was one of the worst professional football games I ever watched.
Right.
I mean, the game was in the balance the whole second half. Right. Could have gone either way.
Technically a good game then.
It was a good game, but
it's competitive.
Also, is it a good game to watch two bad teams kind of beat up on each other?
Pillow fight?
Yeah.
Now, if they, to Hardy's point, all of a sudden both teams play at a level that they haven't really seen for most of the year, and you get a back and forth kind of 24-21 kind of game, sure, that'd be great to watch.
Yeah.
But we just haven't seen enough of those.
Yeah.
Like the Buffalo game.
Yeah.
It was a great game to watch.
That was kind of when
that was a great, and
not
that's
just because they won, but it was a good game. It
that's
was well
why
played.
I said, had they lost that game, my opinion and feeling about that team would not have changed.
Yeah, the Patriots played well that day.
Maybe a little bit about Mac Jones and the ability to have a game-winning drive, but that's it. I mean, seriously, and that's almost like anecdotally as to how the rest of that game went. That was a good football game.
Yeah.
Because it was close and it was competitive and there was good football being played. Paul said it. That game in Germany could have gone either way down to the last second, and who cares? Fat, wet sack of
game.
Who cares?
That was Tamara's pillow fight with two bad teams.
Yeah.
It was just bad football.
It was. And I mean, and to her point about Tommy DeVito made some big throws down the field. I think that's been a problem for the Patriots. So if they do, bottle up Saquon and they're kind of forced to throw it down the field, and is J.C. Jackson back in there and on the program and ready to go this week? And how Jonathan Jones doing with a week off? So I mean, there are some questions that could make it maybe more than a 10-6 pillow fight.
All right, let's get Cousin Patty back on here. Sorry I had to cut you off like that, Pat, but we had to get our Behind the Enemy Lines guest.
Do you want to reevaluate your decision, Patty?
No, he's made his decision.
Your place in life.
Yeah, I'm not going to read.
Good for you.
I overruled it anyway. Doesn't matter.
Make a bad decision and stick to it. I like it.
Sounds like my 20s inclusive.
Me too. But you all made valid points, but if you look at it like whoever they throw in there, quarterback's going to suck today. Whether it's Zappy or Mac Jones, the best way, I think if you want to get the W this week, you got to keep the ball on the ground. You got to try and move the ball with either one of those two running backs, with Elliott or Ramondre Stevenson. That gives you the best bet to win, because if you're planning on putting it in the hands of one of the quarterbacks and hoping to come out with the win, not going to happen. We've seen it eight times already this year.
Yeah, I
at the very least,
I would say this:
if
your first
we're going off past performances, why are we talking about the running game?
Well, your first
had like one good game,
right? Your first point, though, it's like no matter who they put in at quarterback, they're going to suck. Well, I got a pretty good feeling that Mac is not going to set the world on fire today. Okay, do you know that about Zappy? I mean, you might be 100% sure on Mac, but only 99 on Zappy.
Yeah, and I think
there's at least an element of the unknown.
That
with
is
Zappy.
a fair question. I look at Mike's question to our guest Matt about Dexter Lawrence. I think that's. I mean, if we're gonna talk about this game, in terms of what wins and losses, not necessarily the bigger picture, then that's an enormous loss for the Giants. He's one of the best interior defensive linemen in football. Wow. I told you, got to go slow this morning for me. having him, sort of across from either a rookie and or Mafi, if they're in there, or Cole Strange, to me would frighten me. And you're talking about Mac Jones overcoming that. I don't think that would be realistic, but he's doubtful. Has he been officially ruled out?
Doubtful yesterday.
Still doubtful, right? So almost always when a guy's listed as doubtful, I mean, the percentages are minute that a guy will play. I think that's a huge advantage for whoever plays. And it is a team that, let's face it, they're 3-8. It's not a great team they're playing today. They could look better offensively.
I can't believe they haven't been on the bye yet. I think they go on the bye next week.
Yep,
Late.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, Washington
December
has
bye.
it in week 14, I saw. So that must be like, wow.
I thought they're all done.
How can they be that late?
I don't know.
That seems ridiculous.
Hey, Pat, thanks for calling back. Appreciate it, buddy.
Oh, you mean it didn't happen to the Patriots?
Got it, guys.
The Patriots not the ones that they have it out for? Oh, okay.
I just imagine the bye. I mean, it does seem a lot more valuable when you get to this point. Like if you get it early, week 2, week 3 of the season seems ridiculous.
All right, let's go to Floyd in Michigan. Everyone have their pens ready for our multi-tiered question phone call. What do you got for us this week, Floyd?
Good morning, everybody. Lose, baby, lose.
We
I don't know.
We can't do that. We can't advocate that.
Yes, we can.
No, I know. I know, Floyd. I understand. Any Patriot fan, I understand why you would feel that way. Absolutely.
We do have 5 yes or no only questions.
Okay.
But I got to tell you, they could be a little controversial.
And just before we get rolling here,
love
Floyd,
Floyd.
I thought he said moose, baby, moose. And it was like a Revenge of the Nerds reference.
The Omega Moose.
With the Omega Moose.
Sure.
Ooh,
You moose sure can
Alpha,
party.
Beta. Ooh.
Ooh.
Alpha, beta.
It's a simple song. It's just the
Floyd.
words are gotta be me.
Floyd, go ahead. Roll with it. What do you got?
Due to recent struggle, the Bills, Steelers, and Commanders each fired a coach. Did the Patriots have fired one of their coaches?
No.
Should they? Is that your question?
Yeah,
Should
no.
they have?
No.
My answer will be no.
On
Gotcha.
a recent Six Rings podcast,
Uh-oh.
when asked about the possibility of Gerard Mayo being the next Patriot head coach, Paul Perillo said the following: I'm not sure he's ready to be a head coach. How many relationships has he developed to put together a quality staff? The question is, while those comments are fair, can't the same be said for O.C. Ben Johnson?
Interesting. I'm not as familiar with the Lions offensive coordinator's history, like what relationships he may have developed. But anyone early on in their career, I suppose you could say that. I mean, was that true of Mike McDaniels when he got the job down in Miami?
Yeah.
No, because he'd been in the league for a long time.
He had already been doing it with, 2 other teams before he got to Miami?
Denver, Washington. I mean, he'd been around with
Houston.
Shanahan a little bit.
Houston? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Ben Johnson's been in the NFL since 2012. That's a long time.
Yeah.
So he has plenty of time to get, different relationships and network and have the idea, at least, of what he would want to do for his staff. I think
Floyd, I
think it's really quick for Mayo, but he's right. He quoted me absolutely 100% accurately.
And I was all about the idea of him coming to the Patriots as a potential head coach until the Thanksgiving game, when there was very little offense to be had from the Detroit side of the ball. So forget it.
Oh,
yeah, I'm all done.
Oh, he's done with
Just
them.
like that.
I'm
One
out.
bad game. It's not his fault that the head coach refuses to kick the ball.
Well, that's not the mentality.
Okay, what's next, Floyd?
Fair point, Mr. Perillo.
Thank
if
you.
Caleb Williams and Drake May are both off the board before the Patriots draft, is it imperative that the Pats come away from the draft with either LSU QB Jaden Daniels or Washington QB Michael Penix Jr.?
No.
No. Too easy. Not imperative. You got one more?
2 more.
Oh, boy.
Quickly.
All right.
Don't rush 'em. Don't
Complex
rush 'em.
Issue. The NFL has to do a better job of creating more opportunities for African Americans to fill head coaching and management positions.
What was the first part of the question?
Though a complex issue,
Oh.
The
Okay.
NFL has to do a better job of creating more opportunities for African Americans to fill head coaching and management positions.
I don't know if there's a question or a statement in there, but
Yeah.
either way, I would say yes, and I agree with the statement. So, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Yes.
Good job, Hardy. Final one. During a recent
said yes, too.
Next Pack podcast, guest Emory Hunt described the it factor as how you handle pressure and how you handle end-of-game situations. The question is, do you agree with this brother?
I do. I do.
For the call.
I think that's a big part of it, Floyd. I'm with you.
Thanks, Floyd.
I love Floyd.
Sure. Yeah.
I
So
do.
good.
I really enjoy his calls.
It's an interesting one. What were the two things again for a quarterback?
Just how you
End of
handle
game.
end of game and pressure,
I
adversity.
think how much was that Brady? You know, like
Yeah.
that was Brady. Like that was what he did so well.
But to me, it's the adversity too. And like, what's really impressed me with C.J. Stroud, you know, and listen, I'm not ready to anoint him. He's played 10 games, 11 games, whatever it is. But like, I watched the Bengals game. He threw as bad an interception that put his team in great danger of losing that game as you'll ever see. And the Bengals went down and tied the game as a result. And his response to that was to lead like a 60-yard field goal drive to win the game. Like, that to me, like, I always say this. I used to say this when I played, Mike, you know, when I was pitching, you know, at the Division I level. I used to say anybody can get guys out when they have their stuff. When you pitch well, anybody can get guys out. What do you do when you don't have it?
Right.
When the quarterback is just, you know what, it's just not working today. I'm missing my reads. I'm overthrowing guys. I'm not doing the right things.
Do you have a bread and butter play
do
that
you
you
have
can
a backup
rely on?
plan that
Right,
somehow you
right.
can still succeed because you didn't have your A game that day, but you still found a way to make enough plays at the end to win it. Brady did that so many times, and he's not alone. A lot of guys do that. I think C.J. Stroud has a little of that. Even when he doesn't play great, he finds a way to make plays. I don't think we've seen that from Mac.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say, the Bills game wasn't a great example, but he's had multiple opportunities this year for those end of game drives, and he just hasn't been able to do it.
I'll give you the Bills game as an example of what I'm talking about for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Who didn't play a great game that day, but in the fourth quarter when he had to have it, he had it.
Yeah.
And he put them ahead in the last minute, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
The idea that it's just on the quarterback, and no one is saying that, Floyd's not saying, we're not saying it, to handle the end-of-game situation and pressure, a lot of it falls on him. But I think some of this, and I'm not making an excuse for the Patriots because of their personnel issues, but I do believe it is in kind of like a team's structure, whether or not they can exploit those end-of-game situations well, where you have an aggressive offense, where you have receivers that can separate, maybe with a little extra push. We saw it in the Alabama game last night, right? You can.
Man, I feel like I missed like the game of the century.
It was a really good end to the game. There was a lot of drama, right? But you, in order to exploit end of game situations, which include refs swallowing the whistles and leaving the flags in their pocket, you need an aggressive offense, and you need receivers who can separate a little bit and kind of get physical and fight for the ball, because they're not going to call OPI. They may not call PI at all. They may not even call a hold on the offensive line. Hell, it's happened to Detroit more times than I can count when they're ready to get a stop.
Catch.
You know, so
and get 2 feet in.
Catch, get the feet in, and get a little physical. The Patriots don't have any of that. So you want them to handle end-of-game situations better. How can they when they don't have players who can exploit some of those part of that end-of-game atmosphere where it's all on the line? Yeah. You're absolutely right, Tamara. It's like, forget about separating and getting away with a little push to get open. You can't catch the ball when it lands in your hands anyway.
Yep.
Should have just pushed just a little bit more. Should have just pushed.
You pushed just enough. Just enough. You did it just the right amount. All right. See, now I'm all upset. I need Nick Baby Love to calm me down.
Speaking of people catching and getting their feet in, are we going to see Keyshawn Boutte today?
Oh, well.
Are we going to see a receiver be productive other than Demario Douglas?
Let's ask
that part.
Let's ask Nick. Are we going to see Keyshawn Boutte today, Nick?
I really, really don't care, to be honest with you.
Right on.
The show, and Tamara, you got to follow me on Twitter. Everybody else is, from Bob Sosi to even Andy Hart, and of course, my man Hardy and Paul Perillo forever got me on Twitter. years ago. So I'm legally blind if you don't know. So let me talk, Hardy. Let me talk. First of all, I got to shout out this guy Floyd in Michigan. He's a good guy. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, he's
but I'm
great
not
call.
him. I'm Nick Baby Love.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
So, in other words, he's a beautiful human being, and that's why I got more followers than anybody in Patriots Nation. So here's my thing. I've been watching this. Tamara, I'm 70 years old. I've been watching this team since Billy Sullivan bought it for $25,000 in 1960. We won 6 Super Bowls. We went to 10. I mean, I don't care. You just mentioned C.J. Stroud. Obviously, I don't want to break the code of omerta, and I want to hear you guys comment on this, Hardy and Paul and Tamara and of course, Mr. Holy Cross, because I was born in Worcester. Bottom line to the whole situation, Hardy, is I'm for Belichick. He's done one thing. It has nothing to do with sports. It's politics that really angers me. But I'm for Belichick. If they mess with Belichick, they're going to lose me. I will still follow the show, but they're going to lose me. Give this thing a chance. Man, we won all these championships. I mean, I'm just tired of all the haters and all the BS. Hardy, am I making sense here?
You're making perfect sense, Nick. Thanks for the call as always, buddy. We love hearing from you. You're tired of hearing the criticism of Bill Belichick. You say give him a chance. I would counter that by saying I think people are tired of the extended chance Bill Belichick has been given in the post-Tom Brady era. We're into the 4th season now, and it doesn't look like it's getting better. In fact, it's gotten worse a little bit each year. You could make a case for Mac's rookie year, but that was only because he actually got a quarterback, and it was a rookie. I mean, you're tired of the criticism. People around here are just tired, period. And if you're going to make a big change on a football team, there's no bigger change you can make than with the head coach.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you had something there.
No, I was about to.
Every once in a while, it looks like you're ready to go. I just like to step back and watch.
No, you're right. I mean, which way is it trending right now? And it's. I mean, I'm seeing another stat where we used to always count on the Patriots getting special teams and defensive scores. They're one of 5 teams in the league without that now. What were the things that you used to count on this team having as a well-coached, team that this is the best coached team in the league, that they're going to win in the margins. They're going to do the little things. They're not going to beat themselves. And this has been a team that has consistently beaten themselves over and over, and in often the same exact fashion. So I understand where Nick's coming from, that there's a respect factor there for Bill Belichick, and of course, of course. But at the same time, when is enough enough? At what point do you say we have to turn this team around? We have to start building for winning games. Each year it's getting a little bit worse, and we're getting a little bit farther away from that identity that we thought we had established, outside of the Tom Brady of it all, which, that part of it continues to, suck up more credit now than before. So I get it. It's just, from somebody who's been watching these games in the same fashion, where if this game is 17-3 Giants going into halftime, I'm going to be apoplectic, and I just don't quite understand people who continue to watch and say, "Well, it's fine. We won that Super Bowl 5 years ago."
Yeah, we only lost by a score. There's a lot that Mike just threw out there that I really would back up. It doesn't really matter what we all think anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get upset because you're hearing people say this and that Belichick needs to go, but it's going to come down to what Robert Kraft thinks. And I think if you're paying attention, the signs would seem to indicate that there's a change coming. So you can be mad about it if you want and sort of not understand it, but if that's what ends up happening, what good is it going to do if you just sit there and say, no, he shouldn't go? It's not our choice. It's going to come down with what Robert and Jonathan Kraft want.
Right. And
what Bill wants. Maybe Bill doesn't want to stay. Did anybody ever think of that?
That's the other thing I was going to ask Nick. What if Bill decides to step down? Are you still done? Because him stepping down, yes, would be for his own reasons, but also because the writing is kind of on the wall, and it could be a a mixture of the two. I think what the owners haven't said so far this season, Tamara, is deafening. Because at the end of last season, they sent out the letter. They said, hey, this is unacceptable. What have we heard from ownership this year about the state of the team?
I feel like at the owners meeting that we went to in Arizona, I feel like he reiterated there too, like he wanted to be in the postseason this year, winning a game, and obviously they're not there yet. Again, like,
well,
unless they win the rest of the season, then maybe they can be a wild card and get in.
No, it's not.
But
9-8, 9-8's on the table.
And at the owners' meeting, which by the way was decimated with what did they have the flu running through there?
The whole team.
The whole team got
the whole team.
The whole store.
The whole meeting got the flu. Other than that, ownership hasn't said a whole lot this year.
Nope.
No,
that
unless you're watching TV broadcasts and reading lips.
Right. Oh yeah, I mean that's a good point. Like that's what people are resorting to is to try to figure out what Jonathan Kraft is talking about when he's caught on camera.
Yep.
I think
Mr. Kraft's interview before the Colts game too. That was an interesting one.
Yes, this game is pivotal. This game is important. This is a big spot. You're laying an absolute egg.
Didn't score a touchdown.
Okay,
and I would just look at it if I have a tremendous amount of respect for what Bill Belichick has done, here. And I think he remains, in my mind, the best coach that I've seen over this 25 years. I don't really go back on that. But if you're going to evaluate on what he's doing right now as a coach, and just look at this game. So we're to believe that the reps for the starting quarterback was split 50-50 this week, which was like another common thing that we're seeing on Twitter now, right? A lot of these guys, national guys, talking about this, the reps were split 50-50. This is from a guy who was on the record as saying you can't do that. You can't prepare a quarterback to play by trying to get two guys ready. And this is the best way.
Okay.
Does everybody still think that everything he's doing is the best way?
And it's not consistent. It doesn't go along with what he said before. But I will say this, because that is a valid criticism, widespread and almost unanimous. How ridiculous. You're going to go 50-50 reps between the two quarterbacks, and then you're going to start Mac anyway. How does that help him? Well, I would say this. Who's been getting the majority of the reps in the first 10 weeks of the season? Mac Jones.
Right.
How's that working out for you?
Right. So now you're going to have –
And why is it different for practices over the bye?
So I don't know. Maybe he focuses in more on the reps that he gets, and it ends up being the same, or
listen, it might work out.
It can't be worse.
It might work out because they're playing the Giants, and it might work. This is no way to prepare a quarterback for an NFL game. It's not the right way to do it.
Yeah, but the right
way, he knows
the right way to do it has gotten you to 2-8, and a guy who apparently can't.
Like I said, it might work out for him because they're playing a terrible team, just like they have 8 losses, just like you. So someone's going to win.
Yeah, their defense is okay. They do. Well, Deuce, you probably know more about the Giants' defense than anyone else. I mean, their ability to get after the quarterback. And
yeah,
they've got some guys.
Think between if Dexter Lawrence doesn't play, I feel like it's going to be up to Kayvon Thibodeau for the most part.
Doesn't sound like he's going to play. Mike Garofalo's saying Dexter Lawrence ain't going to play.
Yeah, so. I saw Darius Slayton is going to play.
Yeah. Cowboy Dan ain't coming.
I definitely think it's going to come down to. I feel like they know that Mac Jones is looking at the rush, and I feel like they're going to blitz him as much as they can without the pieces that they're missing. But I feel like it's going to be a day for Mac Jones to really step up into the pocket and make those throws. Because if he's looking at the rush, if he's looking at Kayvon Thibodeau coming after him, it's going to be a long day.
It is. I mean, I don't know how this was going to salvage Mac. And I mean, I guess, the what you would think was that Bill Belichick was trying to make Mac earn the starting job this week to try to, snap him out of whatever funk he's been in. And, really just have him compete, which I think for a large part of Mac's career, even going into training camp 2021 when he was here as a rookie, he's been competing for the job. He had to win it from Cam Newton. And, maybe they're trying to get back to that. But I think at the end of the day, what Paul said was, is this going to work? Is this going to snap Mac out of the bad mechanics, the bad eye discipline, all those things that we've been seeing from him? I said it many times over the last 2 weeks, but it just felt like that interception against the Colts was the culmination of just all these kind of mistakes that have been building up and just, these little technical flaws that have been creeping up slowly but surely in Mac's game. And, do we expect this week to come out here and that it's all going to be fine? That I think he needs a good start. I mean, even seeing some of the conjecture here on Twitter is that, Zappy's, I don't know what this means. Like Mark Daniels says, Zappy looks like his warming up looks a little different.
I saw that.
I don't know what that means exactly. So, is there the proverbial tight leash on Mac today? I'm sure, but how long is that leash? I mean, what do we get if this is stagnant through the first quarter again? They can't move the ball. Does it have to go down to a mistake? Does he have to throw a terrible interception?
Maybe they're going to go like MLB Rays style. Maybe they're going to go with an opener at quarterback.
That right?
You're going to go out there for a quarter, and then you're going to bring in another guy.
That would be wild.
Split series,
yeah,
50-50.
Yeah,
it's
why
like,
not?
but how do you build like rhythm, like good rhythm when you're?
Who cares? This team has no rhythm.
We do.
I got rhythm.
I got my gun.
Or maybe it won't matter, and they're gonna run a triple option in honor of Army Navy coming up. Maybe they'll just run triple option.
People are
today.
losing their minds.
So,
Army Navy. Are you like all bunged up for Army Navy?
I'm not going.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
Deuce
go.
is
I'm gonna
going.
cover it. I'm excited. I've never been to an Army Navy game, so it's kind of a bucket list
I
item.
guess it's I mean, to be here.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic.
College game day's coming.
Yeah.
I think Pat McAfee.
Yep, he's going to be out here. So it's going to be a big to-do.
So he's going to be outside doing his show.
Friday.
Okay, so not a huge Pat McAfee watcher, so I don't know when he's outside. Does he still go sleeveless tee?
I would hope so. But he's got a lot of money now, so maybe he's going to wear something nice.
And I do want to know about that microphone. Is it a real microphone? Because he's always up here. Right. He's like, talking. And when he gets down and he does sit down occasionally, it doesn't change the volume.
You got to get him one of those Bob Barker ones, the little.
Oh, the long stick
one,
mic?
Just don't forget to spare new to your pets.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Erica in Virginia. Hi, Erica.
Hello.
How we doing?
How's everybody?
Really good.
How are you?
Recovering from the work week. I'm here.
Okay.
2 questions, one for everybody and one for Tamara, and then I'll start off the line.
Go ahead.
We're ready.
Tamara, did you watch that movie yet? Silence of the Lambs.
I didn't.
What movie were you supposed to watch?
I am failing.
Silence.
I need to watch this before 2023 is over.
She's a constant
Well,
disappointment when it comes to her pop culture assignments, Erica, so I didn't even remember. I just assumed she hadn't done it.
I'm just starting to believe if she watches it, the boys might win.
There you go. That's what's been missing, right?
With that being said, do they tank today for better draft position, or do they win for morale reasons?
Oh, I don't know. I right now I'm feeling kind of like they're gonna win, but I think it's hard to say that they're gonna try to tank, or it's just I think they're playing a bad team, and I think that they should put enough plays together to win this game. But I've thought that a lot before, so we'll see what they pull out. It depends on mistakes.
All right, thanks, Erica. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Have a
it
good rest of your Thanksgiving weekend.
Is it bad to say that I don't think they really have to try to tank? I mean,
no, and they're to the point now where we're waiting here for the injury report to come out. Like guys like Trent Brown, Jawan Bentley, even Jonathan Jones, who continues to fight a knee injury this year. Like I think that's the sign is when you see more and more of those kind of leadership guys not able to push through things that maybe they could have or maybe not. But I don't expect there ever to be an overt sign of tanking. But I'm also seeing another tweet from Andrew Callahan here, just saying that Mac edged Zappy in practice, but it was fairly close. Like if it was fairly close and we've seen what Mac has, then how do we not just give the edge to seeing something different?
And also on NFL Network, they're reporting that both of them are going to play today. Like it's not like a short lease situation. I think you're going to see both.
Yeah, this has been the report. Like, is this going to be an actual rotation in and out? Has Zappy been working on the Wildcat this week? Do they really have a whole different feel when he comes?
It's giving preseason. Like when you see. Like Mac, you see Zappy, you see it's not what you should be doing, what are we, 12 weeks into the season?
I just, and I really, generally, I think, coaching is cool. Like, I just like coaches having to push buttons to try to get a team to play a certain way. I like the psychology of all that, but I still just am struggling to see how this is going to produce a winning performance out of 2 quarterbacks today if they're both going to play. Like, how is this going to benefit them both? I don't know.
One quick pause. Inactives.
Yep.
Oh, what do we got?
Talk to me, Goose.
Jalen Reagor, Sam Roberts, Alex Austin. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't want to mess it up. The new running back?
Jamaica.
Oh, my God. Hasty and Badarian Lowe.
Okay,
so good news. Trent Brown's not on there, which is awesome. John Jones, all of them are playing today, it looks like. So that's exciting news to see that you have all the wide receivers healthy. Obviously, Jalen Reagor is a healthy scratch, I assume.
Yeah, Parker's back and Juju. So Parker missed a couple games. So, yeah, you get him back. You get Juwan Bentley back. You get Trent Brown back. So, just as far as health, I mean, for what they have on the roster right now, it's pretty good. We'll see, who plays where in terms of J.C. Jackson, Sean Wade. Kind of curious about how those reps are divvied up. But for where they are, they seem healthy and ready to go.
And we did talk about earlier this week, with us making that spot on the 53-man roster for McDermott.
Yep.
Do you think it'll be him over Cole Strange today, or do you? I don't know. I'm just.
It's a good
intrigued.
question. Do they now with Trent Brown and Connor McDermott? Do you have Connor McDermott play right tackle and slide Onwenu back into right guard, and then you have a decision to make it left guard with Strange and So and Malfi? That's a good question. I'm sure this will be what will be coming up here next. Is as we watch warm-ups, what the offensive line looks like. But I'd be curious. I mean, we've talked a lot about Cole Strange, and is that a potential tweak that they could make coming out of the break?
And for Giants inactive, Dexter Lawrence is inactive.
Yeah. Well, that's good for them.
All right, let's keep moving here. We'll go back to the phones, 855-PATS-500, webradio@patriots.com for your emails. Adrian in Hartford, what's going on, Adrian?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
How's everybody doing up there?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Just excited to wait for the game to start. Hopefully we can come back from a couple losses and see what they got hidden that they haven't been showing. Belichick staying quiet on who's going to be the starting quarterback, and hopefully we get a win and we can recover from the bye week. And just happy to watch the games, and hopefully we get that win.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Adrian. I'm not at the point yet where I want them to be competitive and have some entertaining football, but I want them to lose. I don't want to be en route to a 2-15 season. That's an embarrassment, and that's really bad. But with an eye on the future and depending on how the quarterbacks look today, equal prep time during the week, and we'll see who goes in and how they look. At some point, you got to think about it. You got to think about who's going to be playing quarterback for this team next year. And I'm sorry, wins do not help you in that endeavor. They just don't. And it's stomach churning, and I don't expect the players to feel that way or even the coaches to coach that way. But as a fan, we're always talking about how the team is looking forward and looking to the future, and that's why they handle the salary cap the way they do. They can't just think about this season. They got to think about the next season, Well, okay, I want to do that too. I want to start thinking about next season. Who's going to quarterback this team? And a win today doesn't necessarily help. So, it starts now. It starts now in week 12.
Right. Like, what if Mac plays well enough that you're like, he might be able to be the backup?
No. I don't think Mac would want to be the backup.
That's a tough ask.
No, but it's I think as much as wins and losses, you're watching these games for wins and losses. You're watching for how are guys going to play? Is Michael Onwenu worth a contract extension with the offensive line issues you had? How do you feel about Josh Uche, who still has been pretty good, doesn't have the sack numbers? Kyle Duggar, is he a building block? So it's even beyond the quarterback situation of it all. It's really you're trying to figure out the trajectory of this team going forward and which players do you want to retain, and what are positions that you're really going to have to rebuild. Tight end. I mean, you have no tight ends under contract next year. You have no tackles right now, so you have to figure those things out. Those are big pieces of the pie.
On a scale of 1 to 10, measure your level of interest, intrigue, and curiosity about the name on this next caller.
Okay.
Boston Cream.
Oh, yeah, we know Boston Cream.
I don't know from Boston Cream.
Yeah. No,
okay.
He's funny.
Okay. All right. All good?
I love the Boston Cream Twitter.
Okay. I don't know from Boston Cream. Boston Cream, you must call Patriots Unfiltered, but you and I have never spoken. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Good to hear from you. What's going on?
Question for you guys. If we're going to see Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, is Bill Belichick going to roll with whoever gives the team the best chance to lose?
He's playing too good. Get him out.
I mean, I don't know how you sidestep that one in the post game. If somebody is in there and playing well, and then you bench them because you're up 17-0 at the half.
Too good, Mac.
Yeah, I don't think he can get away with that one. But maybe that is the idea of having both available. They're going to get he's going to start with the guy that gives them the best chance to lose. Yeah, start that way, sure.
See how it goes.
I'm down with that. Why not?
And Paul, I got a question for you.
He's out of the room.
He's out. But
I'll answer in his place. I can answer a question like Paul.
He did eat a Boston cream donut too this morning.
Go ahead.
Okay, hey Paul, what was it about Drew Bledsoe that first led you to love him? And the next quarterback that comes in, what characteristics similar to Bledsoe would lead you to fall in love with him?
Who said I ever loved Drew Bledsoe? Now, I'm not saying I don't love Drew Bledsoe, but this is what I can't stand. And I don't mean to yell at you, Boston Cream, but I may have said in passing that I love Drew Bledsoe, but for you to make it a thing and have it this like just accepted thing is not something that I necessarily want or agree to. How's that?
This man a Diet Miller.
Yeah, I think he had enough last night. All right, thank you, Boston Cream.
He was enjoying that out there. Paul was walking out as you were doing your little riff there, so
yeah,
he got a little flavor of it.
It becomes this rant on like just the world. This is what I can't stand. When something that you say once just becomes the narrative. It's like, is that what I want to be known for?
Right. You're taking it out of context.
Yeah, right. Dan in Colorado. This is, I have a feeling this is going to be a little on the morbid side, but go ahead, Dan. What do you have for us?
Morbid.
It's absolutely going to be morbid. I, for one, can't believe I'm getting ready to sit down and watch this game like a fool today because this team, not only is this team bad, we're a special kind of bad because there's nothing about this team to look forward to. Let's look at the opposition, the Giants. A bad team as well, but you could argue they have one of the most electric players on offense that's still somewhat in the prime of his career that'll be a part of this team. Say what you want about Daniel Jones, but at least they identified their first-round pick quarterback enough to pay a $100 million contract to, and we saw him play in some good football. This team has absolutely nothing that will – there will be a handful of players on the field today that you'll see next year and the next few years. This is an absolute corpse of a team that will have nothing to contribute to the future. And the ones that would have be able to contribute, like Christian Gonzalez, are out for the season. So I can't believe we're all sitting down. I get to quote Mike Felger, you got a show to do today, so you got to talk about something. But, man, this team is just really – it's getting really hard to watch this team right now, especially knowing that none of it's going to be a part of the future of this franchise.
Yeah.
Well, no, your thoughts.
No, I think that's an interesting part of it, too, and thanks for the call, Dan. Regardless of who gets the start today and what they look like, it is difficult to envision either Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi being a meaningful contributor, to this team. And you can say that about a few of the coaches. You can say that about a few of the players based on how they play or what their contract situation is. Like, you can't even, enjoy it with an eye on the future type of enjoyment because I don't know how many of these guys are going to be involved with the future of this team.
No, there's a couple. And, you can enjoy watching, Jabril Peppers and Christian Barmore and, a couple guys that are still out there making plays and giving you some reasons to watch and some hope for the future. But, it's especially on the offensive side of the ball, given their free agents and the status of their quarterbacks right now. It's hard to disagree, especially when you look at the guys that they have invested in, like Parker and Juju, who look like they're hanging on at the end. Not like these are guys who are going to be contributing next year and the year after. So it's hard to argue. But I guess you could look at it from a perspective of saying you've got an opportunity, to rebuild some positions that you don't have a ton of bad contracts right now that you're going to have to get out of. So maybe that's a silver lining, but you're grasping at straws at this point.
How'd you like my Paul Perillo imitation?
So it's funny. I got out. I got off my chinwag, and I heard you seemingly wired up, and I was like, oh. And then they both, Matt and behind the glass, both informed me that you were doing me. Well, I was like, what did I do? I wasn't even there.
No.
Well, no. It was a
what happened?
Drew Bledsoe question from Boston Cream.
Why did you love Drew Bledsoe so much, and what would Mac Jones have to do to make you love him like Drew Bledsoe? What's the next guy?
The next guy, yeah.
And I went off on a rant about how Who said I love Drew Bledsoe? And maybe I do. That's not the point. The point is, now it becomes this thing. And that's the narrative, that I love Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah, but that narrative is actually accurate.
But I don't necessarily want it out there. I don't want. That's not how I want to be known.
I'm not that irrational. Passionate, not irrational.
You want to talk to Tim in Phoenix?
Timmy.
All right.
Timmy!
Good morning, fellas.
How we doing?
Timmy.
Good. Hey, one quick thing, and we get started here with some housekeeping for you guys. You guys got to get that last 5 games graphic off of the stream there. It just brings back too much depression.
Oh, yeah. That's not good.
Wah, wah.
The other thing is, a quick anecdote. I got 5 kids, 4 teenagers at home. When I asked my meathead football player's son to go clean his room, and he throws everything out on the driveway and then tells me, hey, it's clean.
Oh.
It reminds me of the draft when we got Tyquan Thornton, Kevin Harris. I remember all the people screaming about being fast, getting faster. So how do you get faster? You draft fast players.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Matt Groh.
Yeah. Thanks. Why don't you just go put all your furniture in the driveway with Tyquan Thornton and Kevin Harris? Thanks for that.
Oh.
Wow.
No. In fairness, the fast running back was Pierre Strong, and they traded him for one of these linemen who doesn't play.
Well, they didn't want a fast running back.
They were equally useless.
Yeah.
My main call, though, is to stop the insanity. What is insanity? Doing the same thing over and over. Mac Jones, it's insanity at this point.
Yeah.
It's absolute insanity. We've seen it. We know it. Just do something different. Stop banging your head up against the wall, please.
Maybe Boston Cream is onto something, though. That's why they're starting him today, because they feel he gives them the best chance to lose. I don't know.
I think there's an argument for that. And I threw that out there in the post-game show, I believe, after the Colts game. I was like, if Matt continues to play, it could be a sign that they're tanking. And obviously, I wouldn't take it that far, but I agree with Tim, the way he just said it. Yeah, he could have a good game today. Mac Jones, listen, they're NFL players. Tommy DeVito played a great game last week. Mm-hmm. Like, you can have a good game, and he could play really well today. I don't know. But I don't know what, over the last 32 games, would lead you to believe that he's going to play well more often than not when he hasn't. So I did a little research.
Oh,
yes.
Mike, okay?
Did you write it down?
So I would consider, old school passer rating is a very flawed stat. I would admit, but I think we can all agree that if everybody is judged on that, would you say like a 95 passer rating or above is pretty good?
Yeah.
Sure.
And below that is meh.
Yeah, sure.
Right? In the 32 games since I'm counting the last 8 games of his rookie year.
Okay.
So it starts with, I believe, that night game, that maybe a Thursday night game in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, do you remember that game?
Yep.
It's like a 25-0 win. They got like 2 pick sixes, I think.
Yeah.
So starting with that game, and I intentionally didn't just go with all the losses at the end of that season. I picked out wins too, right? Starting with that game, the last 8 games of 21, yeah, all of 22, all of 23. I believe it's 32 games. He's had a passer rating of 95 or better 8 times.
It's like 1 out of 4, right?
I don't know why you would think that it's going to be consistently better when it just hasn't been.
No.
And I also think you look at some of those, and it's like that Jacksonville game, Jets. Anytime the Jets come around, it's there haven't been a lot of consistently good performances.
It's interesting, Paul. There's a lot of those wins too, and we talk about it all the time. The context of the wins in 2021, and when things started to go bad, and the backup quarterback games that. I don't want to say they lulled us into a false sense of security, but
they
that's
did.
Kind of what it was.
That's what people are holding on to.
Right.
But I saw him as a rookie. What you saw as a rookie is very similar to what you're seeing now. It is. It's not that much different. The caliber of the opponent has changed, and
the book's out on him a little bit.
I think the book is out on him.
And then you've started to have issues with the offensive line that have exacerbated those problems.
And maybe trying to remember during his good stretch. So who were his go-to receivers in the first 8 games of his rookie year?
Like Henry. I mean, Henry had, I think, like 11, 12 touchdowns, something like that year. So, I mean, he was a big piece of it. I mean, Bourne popped up with a couple. I mean, yeah, same
except
guys.
for Aguilar.
So, but the difference being the book is out or the book is in on Mac.
You know, it's Aguilar and Myers, and now it's, you know, Douglas and whoever. I don't know.
I know the line
it's
hasn't been great, but I don't blame the offensive line like week in and week out through 10 games of this season.
That's
so
another
far.
one. Yeah. Pass block win rate for whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know, okay, is it next gen?
I guess.
They're like 21st.
Right.
Like, which is bad. I'm not telling you that's great. But there's a lot of teams that are dealing with worse.
I think the bigger problem was the effect of the pressure early in the season, which, I mean, I think is always, like, you know, come into September, I expect that the offensive line is not going to be great. Like, it's just part of what the NFL is now. But what you see now is just Mac, like, even when there's not pressure there, he just has no ability to keep his eyes downfield and to just escape it. It's just as soon as there's pressure there, the play is pretty much dead. And I think Bill kind of hinted at that when he talked about, I guess it was as open as I've heard him, I think, last week during the bye week, where, you know, it's just it doesn't take a lot to get us off, and it's really hard for us to get back on track. So, I mean, that's as big of an indictment, I think, as you'll hear him say of the offense. But they don't have much margin for error at all for a number of reasons.
All right, let's go to Brandon in Atlanta. Brandon, you're on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good.
Hey.
I see Tamara's not in the room. Send my love to her, please. I'm a big fan.
Tamara, Brandon loves you.
So, I'm not a big tank guy, but, I mean, this team is bad enough where we don't have to outwardly tank. I mean, we're just not good enough to really beat anybody. But I will say today, there is no way that I will be rooting for the Giants to win. To the day I die, I will always hate the Giants, and I will never root for them to beat the Patriots.
Love it.
My other comment or my question is, you know, y'all have access to like the All-22 and preseason and practice and everything. Is it me or is it like, you know, Keon White not panning out to be? I know it's early, it's his rookie year. We're only in week 11 or 12 or week 12. It just seems like because, you know, when Judon went down, it's like, okay, obviously we need, you know, somebody to take his place at least a little bit. He's obviously big shoes to fill, but still, it just doesn't seem like Keon White or anybody else is really picking up the slack. And I'm just wondering, like, what is it? Like, is there something going on with him? Is it injury based, or like what's going on? Because I thought he would step up, and it doesn't seem to have stepped up.
Yeah, I mean, great question. I mean, something I thought about and went back and looked at. I mean, I think for me, the thing with Keon White is that they're using him in a variety of different ways. They're using him as a hand-down defensive end. They're using him as, you know, down on the line of scrimmage and passing downs. And then they're using him to stand up a little bit. And I don't think he's a stand-up guy. I think he's what we thought he was when he came out. He's a hand-down defensive end like Dietrich Wise. And I think he's effective in that role. But I don't think that he has much juice as a stand-up pass rusher. He's just going to be a big, powerful guy. He's not going to beat anybody around the edge. It's not a bad thing. I think they're trying him in a number of spots. I just think for him to maximize what he can do, he needs to go to that role kind of full-time, and you need to either, you know, move on from, I don't want to say guy, because guy is different, but it's kind of that loose pass rush type on the right side that there were Wise plays that I think he'd be best suited. I agree with the overall point, though. He hasn't, you know, brought a lot. But I think part of it is just kind of they've been moving him all around. And not
I would agree with that. I like him. I'm with Mike. I think I like him more as like sort of – I envision him next to Barmore, you know, in maybe a sub role. And I think that he can be effective in that. But you're right. He hasn't some flash plays here or there. You see the power.
Yeah.
He absolutely has power, and that's why
pursuit.
I think
he's kind of good with pursuit,
that's
too.
why
Like
I'd like to see him maybe
well.
line up consistently as one of those sub rushers on the inside and maybe collapse the pocket.
Yeah. He just doesn't have that like savvy, you know, and at least with Uche, say what you will about him, but he's got speed, and he's, you know, if a guy has a bad step, he's able to get around guys. He probably doesn't have the power, but I think White would be most effective. You know, you get Judon back, you got Barmore, you got him. That's a pretty good trio.
All right, let's step aside here. We'll continue. Brandon, thanks for the call. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, we'll step aside. We want to thank Dunkin. Making it to Wednesday would be a win in itself, and to celebrate, Dunkin Rewards members will get a free donut with drink purchase every Wednesday now through December. Limit one classic donut per member per Wednesday. Terms and exclusions may apply. Participation may vary. Offer ends 12/27/2023.
TouchView Interactive from the Oakers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx, and with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
TouchView Interactive from the Oakers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx, and with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
If you're going to wake and bake, you have to wake and bake. You don't wake, have some coffee, make breakfast, have a meal of food.
It's got to be first.
And then take your marijuana pot dope. Well, no.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
You know, I was the MassCan Radio Personality of the Year 2 years in a row.
MassCan?
MassCan, the Massachusetts Cannabis Alliance.
Really?
Yes. Due to my...
Because you're always on the air, and who else would they pick?
Well, I was on the air with a gentleman by the name of Robbie Roadsteamer, who was a big proponent of marijuana legalization and decriminalization back in the day. And thusly, I was awarded the MassCan Radio Personality of the Year. I have the 2 acrylic trophies at home on my shelf.
Well, I can see why. You're very creative. You got like silly songs that you produce, and the people on the marijuana would probably enjoy them.
I took it as a
out of the trophies.
We should smoke on it. We should smoke on it. I take it as a compliment that the marijuana users look at me as one of their own.
I think you're funny.
I find them to be an enjoyable lot.
Yeah.
I wish I were better on it.
It's all good, man. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I'm not good on it. Paul, do you enjoy the marijuana pot dope?
I do not.
Not at all?
No.
Never
tried.
I bet Deuce does.
Oh, yeah.
All that time in L.A.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, my God.
Are you kidding me?
Huge.
Of course he does.
Huge.
Good for you, pal.
No. Maybe I should try it. Maybe I wouldn't go on rants as much.
I get a scurred. I should count my breaths per minute to make sure my respiratory
Am I having
rate.
a heart attack?
Yeah.
It's like he's right inside my head. He knows me. He knows me so well.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, I'm completely convinced if I do that, I'm going to get hooked. And
oh no, not me.
Different stuff. It's going to lead gateway. It's going to lead
Balls on heroin.
spiraling out of control.
That's what makes you a coward. I
Or
knew
else
that I wasn't good at it.
Or else in the other room just dying laughing right now.
I tried it many times in my life, many years ago, and even though I wasn't good at it, I kept trying. I'm like, I should be able to do this.
You're no quitter.
And I wasn't, so I stopped. All right, let's go to the electronic mails here, webradio@patriots.com. By the way, thank you to Bridgestone, official tire of the New England Patriots. Proud to partner with Sullivan Tire, New England's headquarters for quality Bridgestone tires. Visit sullivantire.com to find a location near you. Kyle says, good morning all. The Pats really needed a big-time rebuild. Needing a high pick to draft a top quarterback for a while. Believe the best thing for the Pats would be to lose as many games as possible for this season for a top 2 pick. They obviously need a top 2 pick, but now, how bad can the repercussions of such a dysfunctional season last? Could such a bad season set the culture back and the team for years?
Well, I mean, that's, I think, the big question. And do you need to reset the culture? And, even as we get into, talks of potential moves they could make, it's, is it, we talked about Gerard Mayo earlier. Is it still, I think Gerard Mayo, there's probably enough former Patriots staffers out there based on, who's gotten fired over the last year or two that, he could put a team together. But, is that what you want? I think to that question is, do you want to continue that culture? Do you really want to start over with it? It's a great question. I mean, I think, going back to Bledsoe, those picks, when you pick that high in the draft, it does have the ability to kind of change your whole franchise suddenly. But a lot of other pieces that they got to put in place around whatever draft pick they end up making.
Yeah, I don't worry as much about the culture for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think that's largely overrated when you lose. Now, if you have like a decade of, bad culture in Cleveland, bad culture in, say, Arizona, yeah, I think there's some validity to that. But I don't think that New England all of a sudden is bad culture because they had a bad year and had a top 5 pick for the first time since 1994.
I'd be more worried in places like Detroit, where it seems like you're having a really good season, and then all of a sudden that Lions losing culture creeps back in on Thanksgiving Day, and you lay an egg against a bad team.
And really back-to-back weeks
watching.
at home.
Yeah,
they won. They found a way to win the Bears game, but I would agree with you as a Lions guy, watching that had to give you the last 2 weeks had to give you a little bit of.
That's what a losing culture will do to an otherwise good team.
Here we go. Here
it is.
And I don't think the Patriots have that. No. Now, Mike also makes the obvious is like it's probably not going to be these same people around anyway. So you're going to have a new culture coming in, more than likely.
Ryan in San Diego said the best part of this disastrous season has been Hardy's repeated use of the Bayou joke. Brings a dumb smile to my face every time. Keep it up, Hardy. Ryan in San Diego. Say that reminds me. Deuce.
Yeah?
You know what's brown and sticky?
What?
A stick.
I was waiting for a Bayou.
It's sticky.
Oh, I get it. Oh, no, I get it.
What's the Bayou joke?
I didn't want that one to get by you. There you go.
That's why you had to explain it.
Oh, it's good. Stop blaming BB, says Andrew in Ontario.
Oh.
Long-time listener, like my inactive list 90 minutes prior. What? I don't know what that means. We need to stop laying blame and talk about replacing Bill Belichick. It's terrible to listen to. We lost Judon. We don't have a number one wide receiver. Whose fault is that? And the offense as a whole is not making plays.
Whose fault is that?
It wasn't just Tom. He had Hall of Fame players in Gronk, Edelman, and so many names of players who made plays. I like a lot of the pieces we have drafted in recent years. There is no number one wide receiver on the free agent market at the end of the season. We need to go get a guy. Us as Patriots fans have been spoiled, and losing sucks. Enjoy the game.
I mean, all the things that he says are the reasons why we shouldn't blame Belichick. 90% of them are the responsibility of Belichick.
Right. It's not just the coaching when people are talking about blaming Bill. It's the personnel decisions.
But how can
also.
you defend a coach by saying, well, they don't have any offense? How can you defend a coach that way?
They've missed on all their draft picks lately. What do you expect?
Well, if he's such an amazing coach, how come he can't get more out of an offense?
Exactly.
That
I don't
doesn't
think
have
you want
a
to blame the
premier wide
GM. Blame the
receiver?
GM. You want to blame the coach. I don't understand how you can defend a coach by saying they don't have any offense. Well, whose fault is that?
Right.
No, we're past the point where this is a team that just can't do what the coach wants them to do. This is not that team anymore. This has become who they are right now. And, it's almost expected to be – I'm not expecting a great special teams performance today and, a dominating defensive effort. We very well might get it. With Tommy DeVito, a quarterback. Vintage Belichick today would completely shut him down. He would be seeing ghosts. They'd have no yards. And that very well could happen. But I think the question on the other side of the ball is, are they going to be able to produce any points?
Yeah, I don't know how many of them there still are like this. I think it was Andrew. But this is a game that will get blotted in the postgame. I thought Bill was done. I thought you guys said that he made a mistake getting 2 quarterbacks. No, they're playing a team with 8 losses,
but I just don't understand.
There's a chance that they could win today.
How does he, the emailer, think they got to this point? Bill's the one that says blame me. He's the one in charge. What do you well, it's Matt Groh's fault. What?
No.
There's one guy making all the decisions, the one that's making, and we're looking at a 2-8 team right now.
I have a feeling we're going to disagree on this one, so give it some thought.
Great.
Chad in Atlanta says, as I sit here munching on leftovers, I can't help but wonder which position is harder to find when it comes to a quote-unquote generational talent, quarterback or wide receiver?
My first thing would just be quarterback because there's so much more involved in it,
Generational?
And you're going to affect every...
Yeah, I think there are more generational wide receivers than there are quarterbacks, but I don't know.
Okay.
So maybe it's easier to be a generational receiver then?
No,
yeah,
it's harder.
I would agree with you.
It's harder to find a generational quarterback.
I would agree with you, Mike.
Yeah.
I would say this. We have seen potential from a few generational wide receivers over the years, and then they just kind of fall by the wayside. When a generational quarterback comes out of college and makes it in the league after a year or two, they may not be considered generational, but they will be a good quarterback for years to come. It rarely goes south on a guy who is highly regarded and has a good couple of seasons in the NFL. And there are 3 or 4 guys you could name right now who appear to, fit that bill. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. These guys are good, solid players.
Who would you consider a generational quarterback in the last 3 years? Like Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis?
I wouldn't call any of those guys generational coming
Kenny,
out.
Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, generational quarter. No, I'm saying what they pan out to be.
Trevor Lawrence.
So Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. So I would say in the last 3 years there aren't any generational quarterbacks.
Okay, how many?
And I'll give you one if you want to with Lawrence. I don't think he's generational, but I'll give it to you.
Now, how many generational wide receivers?
Hold please. Wide receivers. Okay, so I would say right now in this draft I haven't seen a generational wide receiver. We have Jackson Smith and Jigba, Quentin Johnston, Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison. Some good players, but I don't think any generational. Drake London, Garrett Wilson, I think you could make an argument for.
Maybe.
Chris Olave, Jamison Williams, Jahan Dotson, Traylon Burks, Christian Watson. I would say 1. And then we go to 21, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, bing, bing. I would say both of those guys would qualify.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith, Kadarius Toney, Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore, Rondell Moore. So I would say that generational is hard to define, but I would say there's probably more really good receivers that have gotten drafted in the last 3 years than there are really good quarterbacks that have gotten drafted in the last 3 years. I just used 3 years.
Like superstars.
And I think it's harder to hang on to that moniker as a wide receiver than it is a quarterback. Once you're anointed and you're the guy, you can remain the guy as long as you remain healthy for a long time. Wide receivers, you got to keep that speed up. You also obviously have to keep the health up. But you're also at the mercy of a quarterback.
Yeah.
And you need someone to get you the ball.
I was thinking about a little bit watching Marvin Harrison Jr., which, he did. He had, still had production yesterday. But it's, you have that one guy. We've seen, games, it can be challenged to get the ball to those guys at times, especially when teams really, really focus on them. He's so good, though. Like, he made plays regardless, and I think that's what makes some of these guys generational players.
We're looking at warm-ups right now where upwards of 60 or 75 maybe fans have filed into MetLife Stadium to watch the warm-ups. They are packing them in early to watch this showdown today.
There's McCorkle.
The two teams, as we are into Week 12, have 5 wins between them, between the Patriots and the Giants. Think about that.
16 losses, though.
We're in Week 12, and these two teams have won a total of 5 games. Patriots Giants today. Patriots.
Did you guys catch on the Twitter machine? Ooh. There's a BC hockey game today, evidently.
Yeah.
And they say, let's be honest, you're not watching Pat's Giants. And they're previewing the thing. Fred quote tweeted, ouch.
Don Maxon coming in hot there.
Yes.
He's wearing the knee brace on the outside here today, too. I don't know. Maybe that's the changes from the bye. Huh. Hey, Bradley.
Also wearing their Salute to Service hoodies. I don't know how many hints I can drop that I would enjoy one of those.
Really?
Before I get one.
I don't really care for
like those, huh?
Yeah.
They look like leather.
I know. I want to surround myself with wood and leather.
Oh, boy.
Fine Corinthian leather.
How about velour?
Spooking the horses. All right, so we'll keep an eye on warm-ups here, see how many.
Yeah, now that they're out there, I'd be curious to start seeing some of the tidbits that we'll get on
offensive
on Twitter.
line. That's what we were talking about in Inactives.
Trent Brown back out there, just giving it a go.
Connor McDermott maybe to the right tackle side, perhaps, or is when you stay there. I think those are my biggest questions, just as we get ready to go. Along with, of course, how much Mac's going to play.
Oh, Mike, there you go. Pep.
Brandon in Boston. What's going on, Brandon? Thanks for joining us.
What's going on, Hardy? You already know we have a long history. What's going on, guys? I love the podcast. I've been trying for weeks to get on here, but it's hard, man. The lines be busy.
That's right.
Listen, I am just tired of Mac Jones, tired of Bill O'Brien. I'm tired of gosh, I'm having a
Bill O'Brien,
brain fart right now.
Bill Belichick,
Bill O'Brien,
Mac Jones,
Bill Belichick,
yep.
The Bills. I'm just tired of the Bills in general. They all need to go. But we've seen 10 games of Mac. I mean, what are we really evaluating here? There's nothing to evaluate no more. If you want to evaluate someone, it's going to be Zappy, Cunningham, and the other guy. I can't even think of his name.
Yeah. Well, he's gone. Well, Greer's gone. They released Greer last night.
Greer.
But here's what I would say, Brandon. I kind of agree with you. I don't know that we need any evaluation of Malik Cunningham at this point. I think the team has probably kind of made up their mind. But for the purposes of having enough quarterbacks in the room next year, you need to decide whether or not Zappy can be a part of this franchise in any way going forward.
Right,
and the only way to do it is to get him some game reps.
You're right about Zappy because Zappy's really the unknown. And I hate that when the game is lost, Zappy gets thrown in there. Hey, can you fix this? There's no chance of winning. Why are you putting me out here? Let Max stay out here for the last 2 seconds. I can't win the game. I can't do anything.
Wow,
Why you have me out here for?
There's some great frustration, and I do. I appreciate it. There's some great frustration for the fans.
And before you cut me off, Jaden Daniels. I think they need to go draft Jaden Daniels.
I like Jaden Daniels.
But we need to see a real evaluation of Zappy because he's really the unknown.
Yeah.
I mean, he was 4-9. I think he won like 4 games last year. So he has a pretty good winning streak. But put him in situations where it's like 2 seconds left and you go out there, Zappy, go win the game, and then
there he goes.
A pick.
Well,
You set me up for failure. Thank you guys for throwing me out here.
Right.
I hate how, if I'm Zappy, I want to get the hell out of here, man, because the Patriots are setting me up for failure. You can't put me in a game when I have no chance of winning, and I make a mistake. Now I look like
So
I can't swear, but
no, it's all right, Brandon. Thanks for.
I would just say
thank you for the call.
I do think it was unfair. We talked about that after the Colts game.
Yeah,
but he didn't have to throw a pick. Like I totally understand. There's 152 left, no timeouts, your own 14-yard line. Chances were very remote that he was going to go down. But like, does that mean he had to throw a pick?
No, but okay, unfair. You're a backup quarterback.
Oh,
you're going to get thrown into games and deal with it.
No,
okay?
but I understand that. It was a tough spot to be thrown in, and I get the way that people have defended that, but it doesn't mean you had to go out there and fail. Like, listen,
he didn't.
If he completed 4 or 5 passes and they ended up getting to like the 30-yard line and time ran out, so be it. You did everything you could. You didn't have to throw a pick.
I wouldn't be pissed if I were Bailey Zappi about being put into that position, or I don't think he has license to be pissed about being put into that position last week. You want to be pissed? Be pissed this week. That other guy is so bad.
And
you couldn't leave him in on this pivotal game where the owner is in the locker room talking to us about how this is a really, really, really important game. You can't leave the starting quarterback in to engineer a game-winning drive. You put me in instead. Now, that's a tough position. I threw a pick, and that's my bad. I'm sorry. But now you're going back to him? After you could have given me 2 weeks to prepare, and now you're going back to Mac. Now, if you're zapping, now you can be pissed.
Yeah.
And I might suck, but you don't even know. No. You don't even know what I can do because you didn't even really give me a fair chance. All we really know is that you don't think much of Mac. And now, instead of giving this team a chance and having a rallying cry, let's go out there. Let's play some inspired football with a new guy because we're finally going to change something. We're going to flip some kind of a switch here. We talked about them changing things and flipping the switch and changing the script and all this, and it's all nonsense. It's all BS. They got one decent win this year over the Bills, and that's it. You got a chance to do something this week, and what are you going to do? You can put Mac out there again. Pen drop. Done.
I just don't even know how this was even an issue, that key thing. But whatever.
I do think, though, I do think it's a valid point, though, that, getting out of this year and knowing what you have in Bailey Zappi or what you don't have in him. Because, we always talk about
I've been saying this for like 6 weeks. If you hate him that much, then
like you don't even have a backup. And it just everything the last couple of weeks has pointed to, like, what would Mac have to do for them to put Zappi in? And it's just like your whole rant, Hardy, it reflects on him as if, Mac's arm would have to fall off for them to be like, let's put him in.
Yeah, what's gonna take is him being so bad and throwing another bad pick or two today, and then they'll put Zappi in, and you know what happens next week? Mac gets the start again. It's ridiculous. It's like someone said earlier. It's insanity.
Yeah,
because you're just doing the same thing over and over again.
Just a little element here as we're watching some of these receivers go by. I just think it's a little bit interesting that Rager got promoted, had a chance the last few games to get out there. I think he's got like 2 catches. So it's just going to put a little bit more of a spotlight on with Parker back. I'm sure he's going to play a ton, and Douglas. But can you get anything out of Tyquan Thornton or number 80, Kayshon Boutte? Those guys, those young guys.
My guess is you're not going to see a lot of them because everybody's healthy. This is the first time they've all been healthy for a few weeks now, right?
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Mike. I think you'll see Parker. I think you'll see Juju, and you're definitely going to see Douglas.
That's just the top 3 of these guys.
So how many times do you have 4 and 5 out there? Probably
rarely.
not a lot.
No, not their thing.
Jose in Texas. Hello, Jose. Thanks for joining us on the Patriots Pregame Fueled by Dunkin. What's going on?
How's it going, guys? Long-time listener.
Appreciate you calling. What's going on, Jose?
You guys have been talking a lot about the offense, but I think you guys had it right when you said this should be an old-school Patriots win. where they just shut down DeVito, and it just looks like the offense has to put up maybe their 17 points that they love doing. We might get the win. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I think that's If the Patriots win, that's how I would see it happening.
Yeah, if they're going to win today, it's going to be I mean, how many games can we predict this year that are going to go one way or the other? 17-13, the final.
Yeah.
And it's another one today. It's the same thing. If they're going to get a win today, that would be my prediction. And we'll get to our predictions when we do the six-pack here in a little while. We'll have to do the over-unders first. And we'll do that in a few minutes. Is it Rigo's in Brazil? Rigo?
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, thanks for the show. It makes my Patriots experience so much better.
Glad to be here for you.
Yeah.
All right. Just a little draft speculation here. If we're outside of the top 3 spots next draft, what do you guys think about drafting a left tackle and bringing in a QB from outside?
I think it's something people have to accept as a possibility, and I know we're going to be against it, but I've kind of I've
You're advocating for this.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of jokingly advocating for it, but I think we all would prefer to see something flashy, and but I just think that throughout this process of the offseason, we all have to be aware that for many football people, that makes sense. And, I think it just needs to be considered an option that they could do that, especially with the amount of questions you've had at tackle. And I also think that, is this a one-year rebuild? Is this hey, we're going to get that 3rd or 4th overall pick, and next year they're back in the playoffs? I think that's a lofty dream right now. So if you, take a reasoned approach and say, look, this is going to take a few years, and we're not going to have a chance at those top 2 quarterbacks, and we feel like we can get a 10-year starting left tackle that's going to protect whoever our quarterback is and keep him upright. There is an argument to be made for that, as much as it would annoy us, and we all want to see a quarterback or a receiver or something sexy.
No, and what do you make of this idea? We've talked with other people about this. I've heard other people talk about Philadelphia, the way they built that team, the way other good teams recently have been built, starting with the line. You start with the offensive line. You start with the defensive line. Equally unsexy, maybe a little bit sexier than offensive line.
Well, if it could be an edge guy,
but you can,
I could be sold on that.
You start with a great left tackle, right, and then you go across the line. You start with an edge guy, and then you get the quarterback, and then you get the receiver.
Yeah, I mean, and I think there's also there's many ways to do it. San Francisco didn't draft Trent Williams; they went and got him at certain points. So it's you can do it without necessarily all right, well, we have the left tackle and pray, but. I think that there's many ways to do it. I'm trying right now to think what's the most efficient way to get back to where they want to be.
And I just feel like when you pick that high, you need to get a special player.
Yeah.
And I think I'd have a hard time with a tackle. I mean, listen. I went back to the draft history because I opened that back up. I think it's too early to tell on these guys. Paris Johnson and Darnell Wright were top 10 tackles last year. I couldn't tell you if those guys have panned out, or not yet.
And Broderick Jones has been pretty good, and he was, 3rd round. So, there's...
no, Broderick Jones was the 14th.
I'm sorry.
DeJuan.
DeJuan
I think you're
Jones.
talking about DeJuan Jones.
DeJuan Jones. Thank you.
But then you go down, so Ike Ekwonu, he's been okay, right?
Yeah.
He was a top... Evan Neal has been terrible for the team that you're going to face today. Charles Cross has been okay, I think. Those are top 10 guys. So you go down to 21, Penny Sewell. Okay, that's the kind of if you're going to take a tackle, it needs to be like that.
Yeah, but still a right tackle. Not even that proverbial left.
But he's
tackle.
a great player, and Alex Leatherwood was the next tackle taken at 17 that year, who's out of the league.
Yep.
So I just feel like Andrew Thomas, 4th overall pick, another guy you're going to see today who has struggled. So these guys, just because you get taken, on the offensive line really high in the draft doesn't mean it's the right pick. I know everybody's like, well, you have to build from the lines out, and that's the strong foundation of the team. Yeah, and if you miss there, it's just as bad as if you miss at a quarterback.
I think to your point, Paul, you're totally right. It's they just can't miss. I don't care what they select.
You have to get a special player.
They need a special player there to start to build around and to have guys that change the equation when you get into games. And who do you have to game plan for? Who do you have to think about going into the game? They don't really have many of those.
And
guys.
I would argue that I would rather have a special player at a premium position other than tackle. But I understand.
Yeah.
You know, they need to rebuild the offensive line.
Rigo, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great day.
All right.
Thanks,
Enjoy
Rigo.
the game. Spee in Fresno with an email. Hardy, that was a good Paul impression. Do you have a Mike impression in there, too?
No.
Unfortunately, we're watching Warmups right now, and it's a visual. It starts with a grimace, especially when someone says something. I don't know. I think that defenses can be good, and they can be good if you start with a strong interior, and maybe
like what
back
you're
that
saying. Yeah.
maybe back that up a little bit with
Sounds like me.
some linebackers that can actually help out, and then compliment on the corners and the safety position.
Hoodies?
But
What are they
I don't
wearing?
know. I don't know. I think
Bill's got a winter jacket on?
Yeah, I think
It's not a hoodie.
That's
What's the record?
yeah. Let's get totally sidetracked and let's see what the head coach is wearing and blog about it.
Blog it.
Just as long as you don't wear one of those leather ones. I don't like these leather hoodies.
I do. I again, size large.
You want to walk over to the pro shop afterwards? You got a little 30% off over there. If you want.
Maybe I will. Maybe I'll
you
go in
should.
there and take a little look.
Maybe you should.
Okay.
Maybe you will.
Hi, it's Al from Italy. The only reason to keep watching the Patriots this year is you guys. Thanks. Oh, thank you, Al. And of course, to get the over-unders. Let's get to them.
It's time for this week's edition of Over Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
What happened with that Germany game? How did the over-unders end up, and where are we on the season?
Paul went 4-2, and Mike and Hardy went 3-3.
Okay.
Season totals: Mike and Paul 33 and 27 each. Hardy 29 and 31.
Okay, so this is still anyone's ball game here. I mean, it is far from it. Far from it.
Toit race. Ramondre Stevenson rushing and receiving yards combined 82.5.
Oh, that goes to my key, baby. I'm going over. I think it's a big Ramondre day.
Yeah, I'll take the over also.
Well, you know what I'm doing here.
Under.
Suckling hind teat, and I need some wins here while you guys take the L's, so I will go under.
Tommy DeVito passing yards 176.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the under on that. I just don't think this will be a follow-up to what we saw last week for young Tommy DeVito. I think he's going to struggle today.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to play a contrarian, I'm with you, Paul. I'm going under.
Yeah, me too.
Largest lead of the game for either team, 12.5.
Oh,
Under.
Yeah, I'm under on that one too. Close, low scoring.
I'm going to go a little Hardy here.
Yeah.
Over.
Take the chance.
It's fun. The action is the juice.
Patriots going to roll.
He makes me laugh with the action is the juice every time he uses
I've been
it.
saying for 5 years.
So immature.
First half points for New England, 6.5.
Oh, man.
Is that an actual number pulled from like an actual site?
These all come from DraftKings
Oh,
Sportsbook.
God.
Just making this up. As Paul and I were joking during commercial, I think there's a pick six today for the Patriots. I think they get that in the first half. I'm going to go over.
Yeah, I'm taking the over too.
I have to. I have to go over. I mean, I don't love it, but I'll do it. Over.
Total touchdowns for New England, 1.5.
Yikes. Yikes. Paul?
2? He's doing math in his head right now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to take the over.
I'm taking the over also.
You know what? I'm going to take the over.
The action is the juice.
And a total score of 33.5.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Why not? Let's have some fun. Over.
I'm going to not have some fun. I'm going to go under.
I'm going to take the over. That's the lowest over-under I can remember in an NFL game. I'm sure that's not. I'm sure there was one lower than that, but 33.5?
Yeah. That's
I
crazy.
can't believe it.
It's crazy talk. Okay. Good times. Great oldies. Happy to do it.
Great oldies.
Yeah.
All right, then.
We'll get to the Sunday six-pack here in a few minutes, and time for another phone call or two, and another couple of emails here.
Oh, here we have a little bit of a line. I'm just looking at the line here. So Connor McDermott at the left tackle still. So I guess Trent Brown. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I mean, Mac Jones is starting today. This is for all indications in warm-ups, right?
It sure looks like it.
It sure looks like
But Bailey Zappi looked like he was standing there being very ready, so we'll see.
And
very, very
Be ready. Stay ready.
This is Al in Wisconsin. Funny that two fans can be on such opposite ends of the spectrum. After listening to Nick's call, I couldn't disagree more. The team runs it back with this staff. I'm totally out until they make a change. Earlier in the show, Nick Babylove said if they get rid of Bill, he's out on the Patriots. Al also says, I also wish ownership would make some kind of a sign. Seeing teams make moves, like Washington, just kind of tells the fans that the owners aren't okay with this.
Yeah, I don't think does anyone under the illusion that they're okay with it? Like, I don't know. I just think it goes to.
All right, but what Washington did, is it going to change things fundamentally for them for the rest of this year? Well, number one, they ended up winning a game right out of the gate after trading away two of their best defensive players, and now they have draft capital going into next year's draft. You could have done the exact same thing. Sure. Oh, you're only going to get a 4th rounder or a 5th rounder. I mean, we don't have to go over this again. You package those up so that you can move up, so that you can, get something back and use that currency to move up and get the players that you need going forward. Hopefully with someone else making the decisions for you. That's what I think. But they didn't do that. They haven't done anything. You got a terrible special teams, and you got 2-3 guys in their coaching your special teams, and they're all still here. They're all still drawing paychecks. For what?
Well, I mean, the funny thing in that regard, though, Hardy, was that if they did anything, they would have, fired Cam Acord, who doesn't even seem like he's actually the special teams coordinator anymore.
I told you, if you're going to
that would have been like
if you were going to do that, it would have been Joe Judge. Now, I don't think that the Patriots do that stuff. Yeah. I don't think that's really what they do. But I think the emailer was talking more of that. The Washington move that he's talking about, I think, was firing Jack Del Rio and the defensive backs coach last week. Not last week. It was like the other day, right? Was it Friday?
Yeah.
Friday. I'll tell you, I don't know why. Thanksgiving feels like it was like 2 weeks ago for me. It was Friday after the Thanksgiving Day loss in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think he's talking about more so than the trades. But I wholeheartedly agree with you. They had some guys that probably aren't going to be back that they could have gotten something for that they'll now get nothing for.
Right.
You do just wonder, with something as simple as special teams, so, what is the answer? Because they've built it in so that, you can't really fire. No one would have been satisfied with the pound of flesh that would be Joe Judge, the offensive assistant. Even though when we were in training camp, he's the one running everything. It would have been, it just what do they do? They already brought him back,
the assistant head coach, right?
Yes. Patriots have how many picks right now in 2024? 7? They have 7.
Yeah, I think they just don't have their 6th rounder, I think is the only one.
They traded that for Vidarian Lowe.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
1 through 5 and then 2 7ths.
You need a couple more, even if they're late rounders, so you can pack it. So you can, at the very least, if you're gonna use some of your early rounders to trade up, you can still get guys in.
And, and I know this sounds silly, but even more so this year because they are trending to a top 5 pick. So those picks, even 5th rounders, they're kind of like, 4th rounders.
A little higher.
They're a little higher than normal.
Yeah, no comp picks, too. No comp picks projected. So based on free agents that signed elsewhere, they are not projected to receive any additional picks.
Now, Tamara is back with us.
I am.
This is a rarity. This is rare. So what's going on? I'm happy to see you. Glad you've rejoined the show.
Hi.
But what...
Yeah, people calling in for it.
I was going to say Brandon in Georgia was very disappointed to miss.
He
you.
wanted.
He's a big fan.
To send his love.
Didn't even ask a question. Just
he said,
"She's not
I love
there.
you.
Forget it.
I love you.
And I actually flew back yesterday from Georgia, so that's pretty funny. Love that.
Were you at the game?
You're quite the jet setter.
Yeah, you jet set.
I am. Booked and busy. I will say it was good news to see Jabril Peppers out there today. Mm-hmm. Did you see him in the locker room this week?
Yeah.
With his hand covered in ice.
I held the mic in front of his face.
It was good to see him,
Mike
playing,
looked
and it
longingly
wasn't
into his
serious.
eyes.
He gave a very long answer on his favorite Thanksgiving food.
Oh, it was?
I can't remember a thing that he said. He spoke at length about it. I believe
Cool story.
Well, no, it was odd that he spoke for as long as he did, and I can't tell you one food that he named. I think he may have said sweet potatoes, and Mac Jones said that also.
No, that was Lawrence Guy.
Oh, Lawrence Guy did.
Lawrence Guy said sweet potatoes.
How do you mix
Matthew
up those
Slater
two
did.
people? They're so different.
He did sweet potatoes too.
Yeah, but and Matthew Slater said something about mac and cheese, but I don't know if I believe him. He said that he would have mac and cheese at Thanksgiving, but it seemed like he was trying to answer in a way that was going to ingratiate himself to the person asking.
Well, I get a lot of hot dogs.
Let me tell you something about the sweet potatoes at my Thanksgiving.
Oh,
somebody done cracked the code.
Oh yeah.
You put the marshmallows on top of the sweet potatoes. You do that in your house?
No.
You don't do.
No.
Anybody?
No, they just brown.
But I have seen it.
But I know what you're talking
I know what you're
about.
talking about.
Okay, thank you. For years, it's been done with mini marshmallows, and they
Yeah.
kind of melt, and it's a goopy mess. Somebody got the big marshmallows and just placed them on top and put it in the broiler, and it browned the top of them.
Crust?
So they were. It was like a perfectly campfire roasted marshmallow on top of the sweet potatoes. Had a bit of a crunch on top.
Bravo.
And you didn't bring us any?
They were jet
What
puffed.
you talking about?
You didn't bring us any?
There was none left.
No, and it's not the same. Don't worry about it. You're fine. You want to do the six-pack?
Oh, I'm sorry. Tamara wants 40-old sweet potatoes.
Yeah. She's upset because I didn't bring sweet potatoes.
This is the Sunday six-pack, so kick back and listen to my position. I'm itching to get the picks back. You better bring a big stack. Get it mixed, Jack. I came to win it, yeah, this is the Sunday six-pack.
Where are we at in the season? What happened last week?
All right, last week, Mike and Hardy went 3-3. Paul went 4-2. Finally. Picking up some speed, Paul.
What?
Season
Put some
total.
respect on that name.
Season totals: Mike 35-17-4, Hardy 28-24-4, Paul 26-26-4.
Have these results been audited, Paul?
Yeah, ish.
Checked?
I was a little sluggish this morning.
All right, 1 p.m. games, 5-5 New Orleans Saints at the 4-6 Atlanta Falcons. New Orleans -1.5.
Oof. All right. You go ahead. Lead us off here, Deuce.
I'll lead you off. I'm gonna go New Orleans on the road. I don't have a feel for this game at all.
I don't either, but I'm going to go with Atlanta.
I'm going to go with Atlanta, too, just because these two teams hate each other so much, and I kind of like the underdog in these matchups, and it's pretty much a pick 'em anyway.
7-3 Jacksonville Jaguars at the 6-4 Houston Texans. Jacksonville -0.5.
That's you, Paul.
-0.5. I'm going to take Houston at home. Been very impressed with young C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, I think it might be striking midnight there for C.J. Stroud.
Could
at least
possibly be.
And at least just for this season, a little reality check game. I'll take the Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jags, too. I think they reassert their dominance in the AFC South against an upstart Texans team.
Tamara, do you want to make picks here just for fun?
Sure.
All right. Who do you like in New Orleans Falcons?
I like the Falcons.
All right. I'm just and Jacksonville, Houston.
Houston.
All right.
Interesting.
So
Tamara doesn't usually make picks. We're in uncharted territory.
You're with me, and I'm in last place. So.
I like that she doesn't give a reason for either one. She just
you think about it.
Yeah,
She's got her reasons.
You tell me why I like Houston.
My best Alex hat because she's really good at this. So
she is.
I'm gonna try my best.
All right, 4 p.m. games.
4
What do we
p.m.
got?
games. We got the 7-3 Kansas City Chiefs at the 5-6 Las Vegas Raiders. Kansas City -9.5. It's also not how you spell Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I before E, Matt.
Great googly
Who's
moogly.
up? You're up.
Yeah, I know.
Hottie.
I hate laying this number with the Chiefs the way they've looked, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'll take Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm going to take Kansas City, too. I did see, I saw Paul Max Crosby pushing to play, but he was doubtful. Will be the first player this year to be doubtful in play.
Second.
Was
Darius
there
Slayton for the Giants
today as well. Oh, interesting. Okay.
I will take Vegas for the reason that Hardy thought about it. I just think it's too many for a divisional road matchup. Too many points. I'll take the points.
What does Tamara think?
I would go with one of them. They're much better than me.
Kansas City and Las Vegas are the two football teams.
I heard that.
Did you?
It's just making me nervous.
Okay. Well, you don't have to pick.
Yeah.
Skip. Fortunately, Tamara's skipping this one.
Fortunately, nobody really cares who wins the picks contest.
No. I care,
except for Alex.
Yeah.
The
Who's
6-5
dominating?
Buffalo Bills at the 9-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia -4.
That's you, Deuce.
Oh boy, yeah, I'm gonna go Philadelphia. I think they're continuing to peak, and Buffalo is stuck right now. So I like Philly.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Oh, Tamara's back in.
She likes that game, Hardy.
Okay, all right.
I am going to take the Bills.
Oh. That's a spicy pick.
Yeah, I want it just because I need someone to knock down the Eagles a peg or two. They need some humility, much like the Lions were shown on Thanksgiving. Some more humility for an NFC team.
There you go.
You taking Buffalo, too?
I'm taking Buffalo.
Oh, wow.
Sunday Night Football, the 8-3 Baltimore Ravens at the 4-6 Los Angeles Chargers. Baltimore -4.
Baltimore?
So I think that Baltimore will win this game, but I will take that point. The Chargers will lose by a field goal because that's what the Chargers do. They lose by a field goal because they don't kick any.
Yeah, I think the Ravens can cover that 4 points pretty easily. I will take Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm going to take the LAC +4. I just think Mark Andrews, I think it's a significant loss. And the Ravens are like one of those teams you think they're playing great, and then all of a sudden they just have a weird game. I'm going to take the LAC.
Tamara, play or pass?
I'm weirdly gonna pick Jay Herbo. I like him.
Okay.
I like his chances.
Like Jay Herbo.
Jay Herbo.
Okay.
The 2-8 New England Patriots at the 3-8 New York Giants. New England -3.5.
I'm with Paul. I want to pound the over on this game, so I'm going to pick a score of 21-18. Patriots, which would mean Giants on the line. I'll take the Giants +3.5.
Yeah, I think I've been all over the place with my picks this week on this game. I think here as we get to game day, I'm going to take the Patriots. I think they're gonna pull it out, like pick sixes, special team scores, like just an old-fashioned Patriots beating up on a backup quarterback. I will take the Patriots to win 18-13.
Yeah, that's dumb.
That's very optimistic.
Paul?
I am also going to take the Patriots to win this game. I just don't have any faith in Tommy DeVito. He's not very good. I think he had a fluke game last week against the defensive coordinator who's now unemployed. So I have it being, let's go with 21-13.
Okay.
Patriots.
Interesting.
I changed my pick from my 19 to 16.
What? I don't know what you keep doing.
Tommy
this.
DeVito.
This better not be. I was going to say it better not be what I think it is.
You're doing the Italian thing.
Yes.
Yes. You're talking with your hands?
17-14. Giants.
17-14. Okay. Okay.
We got you.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So we're going to be back and we're going to do a post game, regardless of what kind of game we get. What do we think as a final prediction here? We see from the quarterback position. We'll just accept the fact that Mac Jones is going to start. Does he play the entire game, and if not, when does he leave the game? Deuce.
I'm going to say he does play the whole game. But I think more based on this, the defense, the special teams, they help him get some scores. The game starts to unfold in a favorable way. The pressure isn't on Mac. He doesn't make those mistakes that are going to get him yanked. Now, all that said, I wouldn't be surprised to see Zappe at all. I think that should have been one of the gambling questions. How many snaps will Zappe play? But right now, I'm going to say 0. Mac Jones.
Max starts. Does he play the whole game? And if not, when does he get yanked, Tamara?
No, Bailey Zappi, second quarter.
Second quarter. Wow. Paul?
I have a feeling that they're playing Zappe today by design, not necessarily yanking Mac Jones. I'll say the same thing as Tamara. Second quarter. Zappe will get a series.
Does Mac come back in?
Yeah.
I think that it'll be kind of a rotation.
I do. I think it's going to be by design.
I'll go
almost like a college game plan. Sometimes you get the young hotshot recruit needs to get a couple of series in there.
Sure.
Like Ohio State.
Then you put your limited senior in who's not going to be back next year.
I'll go second half Zappe. The
at
thing,
halftime, need
the
a
thing
spark.
that we think we would have seen 2 or 3 times already this season, I think finally happens today, and you get a second half Zappe game. The idea of the rotation, I just can't wrap my head around it. How? Why? How does it look? Why would you do it? You know what? It doesn't make any sense as to why that would happen. So I don't get it.
Get it.
Thank you, Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories are made in Mass, no matter how you choose to make them, indoors, outdoors, solo, family style, whatever moves you, whatever the season plan, your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com. And Dom's Sausage. Oh, I had Dom's Sausage again during the bye week. Not this past week.
They
the
do
week
it right.
before. They so do. Order them online. Nationwide delivery. domsausage.com. Use promo code PATS15 for 15% off. That's promo code PATS15. All right. Patriots postgame. We hope you'll join us then. Thank you for listening and watching.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.